Good evening and welcome to the special meeting of the Clarkdale Parks and Recs Commission. I will call this meeting to order at 5:06 p.m. I'll take roll call. I, Chairperson Kessel, present. Vice Chair Kramer.
Present.
Commissioner Keck.
Present.
Commissioner Jones. And Commissioner Osmondstad.
Present.
And Youth Advisor Jalexa. Nice. We'll move on to public comment. Is there anybody on Zoom? And I don't see anybody wanting to make a public comment, so we will move on to updates. First update, concerts in the park.
Before I begin.
There were no commissioner reports. I assume they weren't in the packet.
Right.
Okay.
Just a reminder, if you would like to give a report on work that you're doing in the community or things that you're attending, be sure and send it to us in an email and then we'll include it here. Yeah. And I have two announcements. One that Diane Lenz has resigned from the Parks and Rec Commission. And two, I want to congratulate Shell Smart for her promotion to manager of Parks and Recreation and PIO communication.
Longer than my title.
Communications PIO.
Wow.
Kind of
Congratulations.
a well-deserved promotion. Oh. Okay, now we can do dates. Okay, we'll start with concerts in the park. You had a staff report to review, and I do have an update because this was created before the last concert. So we're now at an average of 980 attendees per concert and still just over high attendance of 1,200. The 50-50 raffle has now paid out almost $3,000 to 4 lucky winners. And to date, the revenue is, after paying everything, is $3,638, which includes $378 in donated monies. We have 13 food vendors. And just to kind of, so you guys are in the loop on this, we enroll our vendors. We enroll our vendors at the beginning of the season, and we don't accept applications typically beyond that time, just because it's very staff labor intensive once we have the maps and things set up. We did allow a new vendor, nonprofit vendor, to come in this last time because it's a public service for the Verde Valley Fire District. So we let them come in. And that's all I have on concerts, unless anyone has any questions. We do have 3 left, and I'm sure I just want to thank you guys for being a part and helping. It makes a really big difference for us as staff having so many people there to help. It's great. Thank you.
Move on to 4th of July update.
Okay. Yeah, 4th of July was 4th of July, a little less attendance than normal. And typically we attribute that to it being on a Friday before the weekend, for a weekend when 4th of July falls on. Other than that, I did want to mention that we had some ideas come in from the volunteers. So Chairperson Kessel sent out to the volunteers just a request for feedback, and we actually got some feedback, which was really nice. So we were asked to consider putting the chairs and tables on the rolling carts and rolling them to the park versus loading and unloading off of the trailer, which is a great idea. I'm not sure in theory what it's what it would be like to get them all over there, but I like the idea. It is very labor intensive. Public Works has to load everything on the trailer. Volunteers have to take it all off and then put it all back, and then Public Works has to take it all out again. So it's, if there was a way for us to streamline that, it would be good.
Why don't they just roll the carts onto the trailer? And drive the trailer over and roll the carts into the park?
The trailer, they're really, really heavy, the carts, and the trailer tailgate is like a mesh metal. They don't think, we've had the conversation before. It's very steep and they're super heavy to push up. So that's why.
Yeah.
It was also suggested that we advertise that people should get there before the pancakes run out. That is not a typical situation. It just was one of those glitches. They started making the pancakes too big and then they didn't have enough batter. So they ran out really early. And I know they learn every year from any mistakes that happen. So works out good. We were asked to increase the sound on the volume on the sound when we make announcements, and to consider changing the park award process and timing. Not a lot of attention given to the award winners, and congestion at the gazebo was the reason for that. Next year is our 50th celebration from when this event first started. And I will tell you that the mayor is, it's also centennial year for the 250, right, for the town of Clarkdale. And so,
For our country, it's 250. I don't
250.
know what for Clarkdale. Sorry, I missed.
I'm like 250.
Parkdale's like 70 something. It's
Brain is covered. It's been a long day. Yeah, no. Anyway, we're going to have a big celebration, and she would really like us to consider some new things for the event for next year. So we'll be having that conversation later, closer to next year. Any questions?
That it? Yes.
For that?
Okay, we will move on to the minutes. I assume you've all gotten to look at the minutes from our February 12th meeting. Does anybody have any additions, corrections, comments? Okay, well, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the February 12th regular meeting of Parks and Rec Commission.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of the February 12th regular meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes unanimously. We will move on to discussion items only, where we will only discuss, no action will be taken. The first one is Selma Mangini Steam Park project status.
Chairwoman Kessel, I'm going to give a report, and then I suggest that we open it back up for public comment on this particular item. So we have an update on the Selma Mangini Park. You guys are getting there. We're very, very close. Our current status on the project, we definitely have had some challenges along the way with grading and the basketball court and some drainage. And we've worked through most of those. We're still talking about drainage today, but after the rainstorm last Saturday, we learned a lot of places that we can improve on the drainage. So we met with engineers today, and we're getting through those pieces. But what's already been completed is our sitting wall. The playground equipment has been installed and the truck ride in its shade. The lighting and electricity is installed but not on yet. The basketball backstops and hoops are there. the large pavilion concrete and structure. The structure is actually, the pavilion structure is actually going under, is going over a few repairs. It has some glitches that they're working on. The home plate shade structure pavers and the structure at the ADA accessible. In fact, the table is already there as well. The sidewalks, we have a few issues. You'll see later, just a couple little from the equipment driving over. They tried to do a really good job of creating berms for them to drive over instead of the concrete sidewalks, but that didn't, it didn't work out in all areas. So they're working on that. The restrooms are complete except for the toilets. There was an issue with those. They had to go back to the manufacturer. They will be here next week. The art wall is installed. We will, there might be some changes in the works on that. And we can talk more about it when we see it. The concrete picnic tables and benches are almost in place. The ones that can be are, the other ones are sitting on the sidewalk waiting for the construction to be done, the equipment to be done so they can place them. The tree planting is in progress. The really cool gray water system has been installed. Anxious for you to see that. And then what we still, that's pretty much a wrap on everything that's been done. I'm sure you'll see some other things, the smaller things along the way. The welcome sign and steam element signage still need to be completed and installed. The basketball court will be primed and painted. It looks like that won't happen now until August 4th because of the Freeport is on site or intact, or Freeport is on site moving a lot of material around and creating a lot of dust, and they don't want to do the basketball court until that's done. The Wi-Fi installation still needs to be done. The cornhole board installation, the ground cover, the DG, the table mesa rock, and the riprap. It's riprap, correction, is in progress. The Great Lawn is maybe finished. They started on it this morning. We are working on securing a certified playground inspector to check all of the equipment prior to us opening to be sure everything is safe. The solar table installation still needs to be complete. The pollinator gardens will be planted in late summer, early fall. It's not a good time to be planting those type of plants. We've got additional planting coming in. The ball field plaque needs to be complete and installed. The snake bike rack is in progress and needs to be installed and painted. The wildflower seed sprayed, that will be a intact job with the landscape, the ground cover. Placement of the boulders and geological specimens. We met this morning with Salt River Material Group, who is donating those like 4-foot giant rocks. And so they will be bringing those in around the first part of August. The shade structure for the swings needs to be installed. They ordered the wrong one and had to get another one, and there's been a time delay on that. The playground company will not be coming back until August 14th to complete their checklist, their punch list of all of the things, and that's when the shade structure will go on. The split rail fence, which still needs to be installed, and the trash and dog waste stations as well, trash and dog waste stations installed. So we still have, but you can see these are small in comparison to the big things that are in place. We received an additional $500,000 from the Land and Water Conservation Fund for the project. That was lucky for us. We had been in the process of that, of applying for that because our project costs had gone up since the last, since we did the budget. And so they had raised their cap by another 500. So we went for it and we got it. And also through that process was because we actually had to go to the parks, Arizona State Parks, had to apply to national parks for us to remove items that we had in our initial scope of work. And so they, national parks did approve the removal of the pickleball courts. We have raised $285,500 in capital campaign funds. And Shell will give you a better idea of what that looks like and also of our in-kind donations to the project. So the community has, I mean, we all have something very cool to be proud of here because the community is super excited and very supportive of the project. And that's all I have unless you have any questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Okay, so we can, do you want me to open up for public comment now? We can open it back up for public comment since we have a visitor. Parks and Rec Commission invites you to provide comments at this time. They will be limited to 5 minutes and we cannot act on anything. So please come up. Sure. Please state your name and where you live.
Okay, I'm Wendy Jackson and my property is connected. One of my properties are connected to the park. So I see it every day. And congratulations for getting the extra 500,000. That is fabulous. The lawn isn't quite done, but I didn't know how they get it all done today for the guys working on it. It's a big lawn. So they got a good way on it though. And I just have a couple things. Part of my property is in an easement. And so we do have some serious drainage problems, which I brought up several years ago. And so wondering if you can rip wrap around that or something where the sewer top is, just as a point of reference, because that's coming, the mud's coming down, making a river again. We haven't had the rain that when it really comes down, then we really have a problem. So, you know, reinforcing that again is that we do have serious drainage problems that need to be fixed because everything comes on my property. And because there's no drainage pipes to the road, none from that park. So when I talked to the contractor, he said that they can put in some piping and stuff. None of that got done that I know of. So anyway, it's still a problem. And then the lighting is a serious concern for the neighborhood. I've been asking about the lights for almost 2 years now. They're up now. We haven't turned them on yet, apparently, but we're worried about it being too light for a dark sky city, especially where there's paths. Those lights are bigger than the ones in town. And the other parks aren't lit up like that. So I went to the town meeting because y'all hadn't had meetings in so many months and gave them information about the lighting, but I haven't heard anything back. They just all went up. So wondering if there can be, I'm sure there's going to be timers on the basketball hoop, but maybe on the other ones too. I don't know how. I still, after all this time, do not know the plan. So if they come on, do they all come on? Do they just come on by the gazebo? How does that all work? The neighborhood is concerned about that. So those are a couple of the things. Of course, all my views are blocked because everything's so tall. I'm not really happy about that, but trying to look at the bright side that there'll be kids having fun and people having fun and activity, but we are really concerned about the lighting. And then I think Joni was going to talk about the placement of the new exercise equipment or something. So
You're welcome to speak on.
yes.
And for the
So that everything's in my view site, everything. So if you ever need a security check, just call me. But to put another piece of equipment right in our view site is just like, oh God, not anymore. So that's just a comment on that. So if it could be over to if you're facing the park from the schoolhouse, it could be over to the left, the side. So we just don't completely, I mean, everything is pretty blocked as it is, but I can still see the cement plant and the 5G tower. But that didn't get blocked, but everything else is. I appreciate the trees going in because they look really beautiful. And I think when they grow out, it'll soften everything a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. And it looks like the landscaper's doing a really nice job. I mean, I see them working out there every day. They've got a big crew now and, forward hoe, and it looks like they're planting them really nicely and carefully. So I think they'll end up being beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for all your efforts and all your volunteer time that y'all put into.
Thank you very much. Okay, where are we?
Did anyone have any other questions or comments about the park? This agenda item? No? Okay, Michelle, you're.
Okay, next up is our new Parks and Rec manager, Shell, with the Selma Mangini Steam Park Capital Campaign.
All right, thank you for all being here tonight. Our capital campaign has been very successful, like Joni mentioned. We really have had an overwhelming response from the community. And so submitted in your staff report, we noted all of the amounts. And since we do have members of the public here tonight, I'll just briefly go over what has been donated from the community. So what we did when we brought you all the capital campaign was we talked about the items that we thought would contribute to the theme of this park. And then we went out to the public and we asked if they wanted to sponsor any items in particular, or if they wanted to maybe fund the park overall. And so I did list out the items that did end up finding donors. And so that's bird identification software that will let people know in the area what birds are visiting the park. We have a solar Wi-Fi charging table, which is, we're just going to use it for the solar charging elements at this point. We did receive grant funding for the workout station, although it is significantly smaller than the original one we submitted to you all for the capital campaign. We did receive funding for our cornhole board set, our rain capture system. That was huge for us. You'll get to see that today, or most of it today. The butterfly gardens, our gray water recycling system, our art wall artist payments. So that helped there. Our lending library, our large pavilion. The train actually donated money for that. And it will be called the Eagle's Nest, Verde Canyon Railroad Eagle's Nest Pavilion. And then we have some money that went towards some large trees. And so we wanted to update you guys that there were a couple of items that we feel are still valuable for the park, but we didn't receive full funding for them. One of those is the kids only club dugout. We want to have a shaded area in the park that has materials and signage and some fun things for the kids at their level. And so we're going to try to make it fit into we'll have to make it fit into our budget. If it gets included, we will at least be cleaning up those dugouts and repainting them, but we'd like to have some fun materials inside. And then we also would like to include a game cabinet that's similar to the lending libraries that you've seen around. It would be a water proof container, and we would have donated games inside of it that have some STEAM elements, so that if people want to play chess at our chess boards, at the picnic tables, or if they want to play other games, we'll probably have Twister in there and a few other donated games, then those will come and go from that container. And we're hoping the public will help us take care of them and we'll enjoy them. And as they age out, we will just recycle them out. because we did not receive capital campaign donations, there are a couple of items that have been taken off of the plan. And there was a kinetic energy demonstration bench that just showed how that technology worked. That one was very pricey and we did not find a donor. And then there were some muted music in the park instruments that we had talked about, and those did not get funded, so those are no longer going to be included. And so we just noted there again the $285,500 in cash that has been donated. We're very grateful for all of that help. And we also have received more than $600,000 in in-kind labor, the bulk of that coming from Freeport, who has done so much of the rough and fine grading for the park. And they just gave us a significant amount of extra ground cover to really help beautify and tie the whole park together, because it is the two parcels. So we're feeling really good about this. And it was Town Manager Guthrie's idea to create the campaign, and she helped a lot with this. So I just wanted to note that as well. Okay, are there any questions? If you look at some of the visuals beneath the staff report, I included in the packet our STEAM elements that are going to be at the park, and then the brochure that came to you all previously, but then also went out to the community, sharing the items that they could donate towards if they wanted to sponsor it, as well as the application that our sponsors filled out in order to make their donations. So is there anything from you all? Okay, well, thank you.
Okay.
May I ask a quick question? So is the capital campaign, is it completely wrapped up or are you still accepting donations?
So we are technically still accepting donations, but at this point, we wouldn't be adding any, the two that have
Elements.
been excluded have been excluded.
Okay.
So yeah. Go ahead and let people know. We'll be happy to continue to collect towards the park overall, because as Joni did allude to, it did end up being significantly more expensive than we originally planned. And luckily we did budget as appropriately. So we're in good shape there, but we would love to fill in those gaps and feel like we could do more for the kids station or for other elements. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you. Next is Stella Mangini Steam Park Grand Opening, and Director Prescott will present.
Musical speakers today. Right.
So we want to open our park in the grandest way and have a big celebration with all of our donors, community partners, volunteers, community in general, and make it a really big deal. And so we've talked about a couple of different, Shell and I have met and kind of already started our list on who would meet, who we would want to invite. And that would be everybody who's had any say, anything, any contribution to do with the park. Our community partners, contractors, yeah, don't forget the contractors. So some of the things, just some ideas. Overall today, what we'd like is for you to just kind of brainstorm some ideas on what you want to see, how you would like to see that day go. We have a date chosen is August 30th. And our time is starting at 9 a.m. We can choose how long we want to run it from that point, 9 to 11 or 9 to 12, depending on what activities we have going on. That day was chosen by the town manager and for the council so that we can make sure that all the council is available. So hopefully you all will be available as well. because it's very important. So some of the ideas we talked about, besides our community partners, is, let me first go to some things that we know some tasks we need to do very soon. And I'm going to be really honest, anything that stands out to you as being something you would like to volunteer to help with, we are taking all that we can get. We're a team of 2 people now in our department. And with everything with the park and everything going on, we're going to rely on you more than ever. So keep that in mind. So we've got to get our donor wall nameplates together. So we've promised our donors that we're going to be putting up a display of those who have donated or contributed in some way. And we need to do a save the date information out to everyone right away. So people can get it on their calendars. That's why we went out pretty far on this. We're going to put a banner up at the park promoting the grand opening. We've talked about doing flyers to Lower Clarkdale residents specifically because this is their neighborhood park. And we want to be sure that they know we want them there. And the t-shirts as part of the donor, as part of the capital campaign, we offered t-shirts, Selma Mangini t-shirts. So we're going to be working on that. Some of the activities we've talked about, Verde River at Clarkdale having the Verde Canyon Railroad having their birds of prey, kind of how we're envisioning this. And please, pipe in anytime. You don't have to wait for me to get done. But we kind of see this as an opportunity to bring even more science and beyond what we've already done in the park, to make it really a cool, STEAM day all around art and science. So having some booths with like the Verde Canyon Railroad, maybe the Heritage Park Zoo. We talked about some face painting, maybe some games like a scavenger hunt on, finding different things throughout the park and have prices available. We would want some community partners to be there that would, give some stuff out to people like Yavapai Community Health, Yavapai County Community Health, maybe the Bicycle Advisory Committee, just some different organizations like that. We could give out trail maps and water bottles and all kinds of stuff. Entertainment. So we've discussed the idea of having a band, which we think would make it very festive. And, but we don't really know who that would be. We tossed around a couple of ideas based on the bands who have applied for concerts. So that's something we can talk about. Food, definitely water, and potentially food trucks, donuts, orange juice, coffee, bagels, and cream cheese, keeping it really simple. Or, do we want to do, a cookout of some sort? It being at 9 o'clock in the morning, we could do a pancake breakfast and make sure we don't run out. And then some of the community partner booths we were talking about was the Bicycle Advisory Committee. I already mentioned Yavapai County Health Services, the kayak companies. We have a really cool kayak down there for them to, to see and be a part of. So we thought they might like to have a table. The Verde Valley Bicycle Shop, the Friends of the Verde River as a contributor, Chamber of Commerce, the Town of Clarkdale, Friends of the Clark Memorial Library, our local libraries, Just basically inviting people to come and be a part of the celebration and share what their specific things that they do are. So those are just some of the things we tossed around. So this is open for discussion for you all to just brainstorm and give us, we have a ton of ideas. More ideas will be coming from the town manager. So we're just kind of making a list of everything that sounds really cool. Or doesn't, we'll put it on the list. And then we'll get staff together to kind of put together exactly what of those things are feasible and cost effective for us to do. Because that's the thing, we're trying to do it on the least expensive. So I'll open it up to you all.
We still have, Cottonwood still has a radio station, don't they? Sometimes radio stations do remote things like on grand openings and they, kind of provide commentary and music and things like that.
Yavapai Broadcasting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Would we put it in the newspaper? Would we have the newspaper there for the activity?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We'll do several press releases, most likely, one for saving the date and then another when we get closer to the event to invite people to come. We can also do one to invite vendors to come. So, yeah, we use the print and radio media a lot. Yeah.
And Joni, we did include the save the date in small talk this
Right.
time. So our residents should be getting that in the mail. And in the next issue, we'll have a bigger advertisement in there for it as well.
Thank you for reminding me.
Will we have those sheets like the concerts that we could put up different places or hand out? You said you wanted to contact the Lower Clarkdale neighborhood.
Yes.
So would we hand deliver or would that be mailed to them? or-
We prefer the hand delivery if we have volunteers to help.
Okay.
So that's a really good one. We can.
Sign me up for
Wait a minute, we have a volunteer to deliver flyers?
I'm volunteering.
Oh, nice.
That is
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll create marketing materials that in flyers and that we can give to the local businesses. The school, we'd like to send flyers home, of course, to the school. And also involve the school as one of our vendors if they'd like to be there. We really want to get as many kids there as we can. And we're still in process of reaching out to them too. We've tossed around the idea of that kids only club, of the kids actually being a more vocal part of that. We had that idea early on and then summer came. And so I don't know, Jalexa, do you think that would be something that kids would want to get involved in creating? So we have a dugout that we want to have just a place that only kids can go, like adults can't go there, and let them kind of decide what goes inside, obviously with some parameters. But would you think that's something they would? Yeah. We can even have a sign that says, you have to be this tall. to enter. So the school is important, I think. School flyers too.
And could we contact teachers that might want to do science experiments, especially for the little kids that show up?
The school, let's see, schools are all on our list. Yes. Mingus Union High School, they're on here. Clarkdale Jerome School, Cottonwood Oak Creek, Mingus, Dr. Daniel Bright, Mountain View Prep, Yavapai College, and obviously doing a Facebook invite for the general public to come. We've had a lot of hype over this project over the last 5 years, so I don't know about you, but I can imagine a pretty large event out of it.
I was just talking to some people over the weekend who are really involved in the homeschool community in the Verde Valley. And so I can make sure that they get the invite either through Facebook or whatever to circulate among themselves. And they were really excited about the educational opportunities, being able to use the park as part of their curriculum. So
Great. If we could get that contact, then we would be happy to reach out to, them directly so that, yeah.
I think like maybe as you get more details about like what some of these things entail, I could send out emails to either our volunteers or the commission and say, this is exactly what we're needing, like, because right now the t-shirts, I'm not sure exactly how best we can help you guys.
Yeah, understood.
Ben, you always have a lot to say. Come on, Ben.
Sounds
And are Selma Mangini t-shirts something people could buy there? Or it's just people that have donated?
Most likely, I think it was our plan to just have it be those who have donated or contributed, our community partners. I mean, that's, something that we can talk about. Maybe we have a different kind of Clarkdale shirt because we really want those people to stand out in the community as being so important to the project.
I really like the idea of having the birds of prey there. That would be very cool for the kids if that's possible.
I really like the idea of the scavenger hunt. I think that'll get people into every area of the park so they can
Scavenger
go
hunt.
around and explore.
Does anybody have any suggestions as far as food, just provide or food trucks, or what do you think about having food trucks or just providing donuts, orange juice, coffee, whatever?
From a staff perspective, the easier, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was only kidding when I said a pancake breakfast.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Our conversation really went around food trucks and but then it was like, okay, where are we going to put them? Because y'all know we only have so much parking at the park, so it is going to impact the community, which is another reason why we want to reach out to the community specific to that area. And so, yeah, then we kind of came back to the donuts and bagels and cream cheese and just snacks. People don't have to stay forever, and we just have something for them. People don't come to those things necessarily expecting a big meal. Just depends. I think we can do it up big in lots of other ways than food. That's time consuming and expensive unless we have a donor. Maybe somebody would donate a bunch of breakfast burritos and we could have those until they're gone or something. But it have to be a lot.
Or would you, rather than a food truck that would take up parking space, would it be a better option to ask a vendor to come in and like set up a table and serve, either everything that you just mentioned or something, but from a staff perspective, then it's just give them a table and a space and then they can run from there.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Whatever we had for the groundbreaking seemed really nice and people seemed very appreciative of that. And also when we opened the gazebo, that was very nice as well.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get some public works help to get tables and chairs. You know, we can set up a really nice, like our round tables even down underneath the pavilion with chairs for people to be able to sit and enjoy the shade. And maybe if we're going to have a band, we could put the band down at the Ramada, the smaller Ramada. We've often talked about that anyway, and having bands there if we have them up at the big pavilion and the sound blasting out to the community, you know, to the residents. And so if we were going to have a band, we would put them in that Ramada because it would come out this way instead of going down to. Not that anybody would probably complain about music, but
Sounds great.
depends on the band, you're right. Yeah. And we're open to suggestions on that. One idea that came to mind was the Invincible Grins. They were very entertaining and not your average cover band. So that's kind of where our head goes to, is maybe somebody a little different. And so we can explore that if we want to do a band, but they have to be cheap.
I wonder if someone would do it for a donation.
Well, they might, yeah.
That would be
That
nice.
we would start with the, how low can you go? And see, I mean, you know, we don't want to put people out. I mean, people, you know, work hard, but this is definitely something that I think we could probably get somebody to do that. And, you know, the other option is a really, you know, popular band like Local Honey, and, you know, they might be willing to donate, and they're, you know, kind of different. And so,
That's good.
okay.
Anybody else?
The only other thing I wanted to mention is one challenge we'll have is that the signage, our lollipop signs, which are going to be integral in communicating what each of the STEAM stations is about, the actual written signage will not have arrived by the time we have our opening. So we'll have the base for these signs. They look like cute little lollipops, are kind of flower shaped with a stem that comes down. So one thing we thought you might have some ideas about is, you know, should we get one volunteer to stand at each station and kind of share the information for those 10 to 11 stations? Or do you have other ideas? You know, we were like, I suppose we could laminate the paper signage and we could put it up just for the day inside the frame. But we just thought we'd share that with you, that we want to be able to communicate what each of the stations are about.
Some of the comments we've had about people that are editing and looking over that signage for us is I know you're doing the park, but I had no idea of, you know, just how many STEAM items that you have and those opportunities. So we're really excited about that. And, you know, we could always do like, you know, a mock-up sign and then say coming soon with a little thing saying, you know, it really will be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The volunteer idea isn't bad. We could definitely get that many volunteers, and they could be wearing their t-shirts and they would stick out, you know, as long as they were just educated on whatever they had to tell.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun. They'd be easy to find, and if there's, so.
Why not see if Arizona Family would want to do their weekend road trip up here and feature that, since they've done tie-ins with the train. They love coming to the Verde Valley. This would be a big North Country thing. You know, it might be something that the news channel, the Phoenix News Channel, would want to come up and cover. Might make some pretty good add-in for them. Arizona Science Center might want to send somebody up or representatives
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
This
well, the
time.
Science Center is on our list, the Arizona Science Center, because they actually were a part of the early conversations on water conservation and displays.
ASU Project Cities.
ASU is on the list too, yep. we may send, because you guys have all been really involved in these conversations. When we get our draft list together, we can send it out to you. And if you think of someone else that we've missed, we do not want to miss anyone. That's really important. Okay. That's all I have on that.
Okay, we are going to move on to action items, and I believe Manager Smart is going to present Halloween. No?
Oh. Me?
That says you.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, never mind that.
I can do it.
I don't mind Joni.
No, I'm just looking at it for a second, getting my thoughts together. So we have 2025 Halloween coming up. And we wanted to have the conversation with you all. First of all, I'll remind you of some of the things that we do, being that we close all of the three main streets, First North, First North, First South, and Main Street. I always get my South and North mixed up. And so we close all of those to traffic to provide a safe environment for kids to trick or treat. And we get somewhere around 1,500 people typically attending. Chairwoman Kessel does the count, so she knows exactly how many kids we have. We make sure that we send out resident packets to notify the residents that it's coming. We do fundraising and get donations to help provide supplemental candy to those residents and deliver those. Lots of volunteers. Many of you have helped in that. The Halloween event goes from 5 to 7 p.m. It involves basically all of our police department and river ambassadors, definitely all of our staff and many volunteers to help man all the different areas. We have a costume contest in the park. Did we do that at 5 o'clock last year? I think we did. So we just wanted to kind of talk through those things that we did and see if you want to make any recommendations, if you want to approve it as we've always done it. I will mention that we usually spend about $3,500 on candy and we spend that locally as much as we can. So some of the things that you considered last year, we're changing the time of the contest. Closing the streets at 4:30. We did emphasize the costume parade rather than a costume contest or best costume. Encouraged the group to cheer while the parade participants went around 3 times. So I think it is important for you all to have a conversation on how you felt that particular piece went, because that's the one that can, everything else goes pretty smoothly. We close the streets, people walk the streets. We're pretty good on that. But this particular piece with the costume, with the costume parade is important that we have all the pieces together. Now, we didn't have our gazebo last year. We will have our gazebo back this year. Yay. Which is nice for announcements, but I think we learned from 4th of July, and that was a comment that we had. It's a little clunky for kids to have to come up the stairs to get their award. We're better off probably to do it at the bottom for them to get up the stairs with costumes and all those fancy things that they got on. It can be a little tricky. There was a comment about, or a consideration was we gave out larger numbers of awards and, or gave out more of them, but they were $10 instead of $20. And we just reduced the price and gave out more prizes. So we gave you a list of things to consider for the event, being public safety, residential communication participation, the event flow and timing, costume contest, inclusivity, volunteer and partner coordination, and overall experience and community value. So hopefully you had some time to kind of review those and get some thoughts about the 2025 Halloween Safe Trick-or-Treating event.
Does anybody have any feedback? Comments? No? I
How
thi-
many of you were actually at the costume parade? You guys were, yeah, because you were judges. What were your thoughts about how it went?
Well, I think a critical element is having someone, staff, volunteer, et cetera, who's the ringleader, who's like, it's like follow that person, you know, and everyone line up here, and then they can kind of keep the pace correct and everything else. The challenge we run into is a lot like 4th of July with the judging is you get a group of, we had that really creative group that was all the sea creatures last year. You know, it's like 8 costumes. They're all awesome. And we're somehow asked to like say, oh, that's receiving the same level of recognition as the one person dressed as the thing that they're dressed as. It's like neat, but people, you know, it's like, are they entering individually or they're entering as a group? You know, like I don't know. Some of those things are just challenging, and it's figuring out a way to have them walk around 3 times, grab their candy, line up, take a big picture. Here's your envelope. Next group. You know, like it's kind of that shepherding that we need to make it just be really smooth.
And that's what we did last
Yeah,
year.
it went pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think last year's was an improvement. I think having more space to do it in again this year will be a really, really helpful. And then I think, yeah, like you're saying, like having somebody be the ringleader and just being a very strong energy in that moment to say, you know, okay, this is the group, line up here, and this is what we're doing, and could maybe help generate some more of that applause and energy while the participants are walking around and getting some attention.
Instead of an
Maybe part of the announcements can be, hey, make sure you're waving to the crowd, make sure you're, you know, like that. So, you know, some of that could be kind of nice because everyone else is kind of waiting off it'll be a lot easier with the bigger slab this year.
But I like the suggestion of just, you know, have them line up at the end, you walk up, hand them the prize, and then say, step off. While that picture is getting taken, then the ringleader can start, you know, announcing next group, line up right here. So
Yeah.
We did do that before. I guess, did we just not have that person last year? Because
Yeah,
We did-
we did last year. It's like without it, it ends up being a really big, you know, just a really big hassle. If they lined up and we just handed them their envelopes, then we don't have to worry about oh, hey, it's little Dracula. Like not you. Wrong little Dracula. This one over here, the other little Dracula. Because there's you know, we'll get 4 or 5 that are really similar costumes, and so it's kind of like, well, what do we call it or anything else? So maybe that could be an onus on the judges to like pick their 3 or pick their 6, whatever the decision is, and then okay, everybody line up, you know, line up for the crowd. Everybody can take a picture, and while they're doing that, hop up, go over, congratulations, thanks everybody, let's move off, let's get ready for the next group, and then we're not having to like stop, call people up, hand them the thing. Well, they were just here. Did they walk? Oh, they're no, okay. You know, those things that sometimes are a problem, sometimes aren't. You know, 4th of July was smoother this year. Everybody was there just about. So, but yeah, maybe the lineup at the end, and that's when we're just like picking and moving on. I don't know, or maybe they're handed out on their 3rd pass by the table, you know, and it's just like,
Hand them some cash.
here's your envelope, you know, as they're going by. We probably could have that figured out fast enough that it could be on their third pass, and on the third pass, they line up, they take their picture, we move on to the next group, they've already been awarded. But then, I mean, I guess then they're not like being recognized as the winner by the big group. Maybe that's an important part. I don't know.
And the picture, it's nice to get the picture.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, I think we would do well to have a male announcer.
Yeah.
And
Speaking the whole time. Yeah.
Somebody else.
Judging.
And I think that could really help, you know, somebody with some enthusiasm and,
You're like a postmaster? What do you mean?
yeah, like, you mean to do the announcement?
Yeah.
You, Ben,
Oh, okay.
or we have too many other jobs for you.
Wow. Well, yeah, if that would be helpful, you know, that's fine. We could always work on a script and try to get it just really clear instructions for everybody. And yeah, I mean, it's a smooth, works pretty smooth. I just, you know, whatever we can do to make it better.
I think we did get through it pretty fast last year. John, do you do announcements? Public announcements?
When my brain used to work, yeah. Nobody can understand me.
Okay. All right.
Well,
so we can work-
how Doug do for 4th of July? Maybe he wants to do it again.
They did great too. I mean, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that and help somebody else transition into the judging or whatever it is.
Oh,
Right, well,
Help
say
the bowl.
less, Ben.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Happy to do whatever.
Perfect.
It'd be cool.
There you go.
Easy.
Okay, good. I think that could probably be the biggest improvement to this part of the event.
Well, and if we're using our sound system, then it would be real easy to go down on the music. Thanks, everybody, line up. Here's our 3 winners. Let's get our next group up here, start the music. You know, that could all be one function. So anyway,
Definitely use that system. Our traveling sound system.
excellent.
Okay. Anything else?
So it seems like the costume contest is the only thing that maybe needs some tweaking, or maybe it worked well, you know, whatever your suggestions. I don't know what goes on because I've never down there, but as far as passing out the packets and the candy, I think everything else, like we've done in the past, works just fine. The way we close the roads and all that. Does anybody else have any suggestions other than?
I mean, moving it to 5 instead of 5:30, I think that's probably convenient for a lot of people who are like showing up, doing this, taking their kids,
Mhm.
packing up, you know. That's probably a good idea.
And I think I want to say we did all of these things last year. So really what you're considering, then what I'm hearing from you is that pretty much what we did last year was pretty good. So we can do, you know, you can just go from there and just say, you know,
Yeah.
I'll let you guys decide on how to do that.
Is there any more discussion on this? Okay, well, then we could hear a motion.
I'll move to continue doing the Halloween with incorporating our newly found best practices each year, as including some of the things we discussed today, but not changing it substantially from last year. And yeah.
I'll
As
second
written.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded that we keep the event as it has been in the past with the few little tweaks that were discussed. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor
Aye.
and opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. We will move on to action item Selma Mangini Steam Park Workout Station. And I believe that is Manager Smart.
All right. I want to ask Wendy first, would you want to make another comment or do you feel like you've said everything you had to say? Okay, all right. Well, we are very excited to talk to you again about the workout station. We were able to receive $50,000 to help us fund it. The workout station that was originally included in our capital campaign was much larger. The footprint of this station is about 25 feet by 40 feet, and the location is going to be pretty central to the park, but it is going to be up on the other parcel that Wendy noted, actually. So it is just up on that hill, and we will get to look at that today for that location. And in your packet, we did include a map for the location. Wendy, I'm sorry, it's kind of small on my printout, but on the online packet, it's significantly bigger. One second.
Answer questions after.
So I wanted her to see where that is, and it is bigger online when she goes and takes a look. All right, so a couple of the things about the workout station that are important to know is that when we did a safety inspection at all of our parks, one of the things that came up was that we were sadly lacking in shade. And in Arizona, shade is a major safety component so that people can get outside and enjoy it through most of the year. And so we did include a shade structure over the workout station that is 22 feet by 20 feet. And it is going to be the muted color. It's kind of a sandy beige color that you'll see down at the park that we felt would blend in better with what's already in the park. We kept all of the same colors. And when we first started talking about the idea of a workout station, it was really because we made this huge investment in a shaded little kid tot lot, Clarkdale's first tot lot playground. It's going to be incredible. And then we had the big kids playground with the awesome slide and everything you guys helped us pick. And then we thought, well, we really want our adults to have an active station in the park, a few things that they can go and do that's really geared towards them. We'll still have the safety surfacing, the wood fiber underneath it. So it should be safe for all ages, but the intention and idea is that this is going to serve our adult population. And so we have some balance bars there that can be used for when somebody, maybe they have physical therapy, or maybe they're just wanting gentle exercise that can help keep them balanced and on track. And then we have some weight resistance, mostly body resistance stations, so that that need is met. We have an elliptical so that there is some cardio involved. And we have a station that you can use for crunches. So those are the major areas. When we put it out, we looked through our procurement specialists and we got a few options back, and we looked at what fit into our budget and what had the most opportunities for the workout station. And so this one was selected for that reason, and we also got a good warranty with it. I also just want to note that in the evenings, we do expect that the lights will be on there so that people who are working out or going along our walking or running trail, that they'll be able to stop at that station. And the lights will be on they'll be set to turn off by 10 p.m. is the current expectation. And our basketball courts, oh, and I wanted to say these lights are dark sky compliant. We talked about that early on and made sure that was part of our planning. But the basketball courts, they're also dark sky compliant. Those are on a timer for 1 hour. So when someone hits that button, it'll stay on for an hour, they'll play their game. And if they want to go longer than an hour, they'll be re-hitting that button. Okay. So that is how that part will work. And we hope that people will come out and use this equipment. Clarkdale does not have a gym. And so we feel like there's an opportunity to let our public come out and work out together, hopefully socialize. That was part of why we tried to keep the items grouped so that you could bring a friend or maybe meet a friend at the park while you're working out.
Oh, can I add something?
Absolutely. It should be on.
One of the things that brought us to this exercise equipment was the comments from the public about the lack of adult activities. We removed pickleball courts as an adult activity. And so this was like the next thing that people seem to be interested in having. So just to kind of give you some frame of reference.
Well, we'll get to see, I guess, when we go down and look, but it looks like from the map, it also has pretty easy sight lines to the basketball court, the zip line, both of the play structures. Like, so if you're there with your little ones, you'd still be able to maintain that from that kind of elevated position over there as well.
Yes, absolutely. And it's right next to our cornhole station. So the cornhole boards are up there as well, which is another nice active feature for the adults that was donated. So looking forward to that. All right, so I just want to run through the items that are included in the package that we are excited to be able to implement at the park. We have the elliptical trainer, an ab and back trainer, a suspension trainer, and then there's the pull-up bars come as a system, so you have to get all of them, and that's why there are the 4 different levels of pull-up bars for different exercises. And then we have the shade structure over all of it. So the elliptical was the most expensive piece. The balance bar over on this side, we felt was important, and you can do a lot of exercises with a lot of these pieces. And the elliptical is the one piece that we have a lower warranty on for a fewer number of years, but we feel like we should be able to maintain it. We should be able to do repairs if they're needed. It's a simple apparatus. But we really wanted to have something that was cardio related with the moving pieces.
I see that you have the detail on here for the recumbent bike. Was that a piece that wasn't able to be funded for this round? Could be added down the road?
No, I'm sorry. The bike is what we're calling the elliptical. Am I getting that wrong? The little bike piece that's on this side. It's included. It's hiding over here under the shade. So we moved that under the shade so that because we felt it would be a more popular piece. So originally it was out in the sun, but we swapped its location with the balance bar. So the balance bar now, something had to be outside of the shade. And so we moved the little bicycle type piece in the shade, in the elliptical. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, I noted it as 2 different words, but that is what it is. Okay. We do have, our engineer did come up with an ADA path that will be able to get up to this station. So we're excited about that. We're going to have a picnic, either a picnic table or a bench there so people can also rest some of their items off to the side. And this unit does come with educational signage. So there will be signage on each piece that's like a sticker. It will have a QR code so you can see how it's used and it'll describe how to use the piece. And then we'll have a larger welcome sign where we want to tie it, really incorporate it into our STEAM concept. So we're going to talk about some anatomy and physiology related science and heart rate and things like that so that we're sure people are being educated a little bit as far as their workout goes. Okay. Are there any questions or ideas? One of the stations has like chains that come down and get held. And so that there weren't any questions about that, but it is highly durable. We have really great reviews on all of these pieces. And so we feel confident and pretty excited about everything that's being included.
As far as it being included in the STEAM concept, like so many of the other elements, I mean, that kind of stuff would be about longevity and cardiovascular health and maintaining muscle mass beyond like in later years. Is that all kind of the idea there for the more adults, like ideas that go with that kind of stuff?
Yes, the equipment comes with a visual that shows what muscle groups are being activated when you do the pieces. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but then we also thought we'd incorporate some of like where your pulse rate is supposed to be as you're exercising, because we also want to encourage people to use the walking trail that really circles the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe with the total distance of the walking trail, so people that are tracking their distance would be able to know like this many laps is a mile, et cetera.
Yes, that's
Cool.
a great idea.
What are the park hours?
So our park hours are 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. at our other parks. And we have kept it consistent so that people are not confused. Obviously, use reduces when it's 6 to 9. Oh, I'm sorry. 6 to 9.
9 o'clock is when we have the lights going off too.
Oh, I'm sorry. So 6 to 9.
Mention the basketball court and you push a button and it turns the lights on. So at 9, when the park is closed, does that mean the lights now will not turn on?
That's correct. Yeah, the system has like a master panel that will control all of that.
Thank
yeah.
you.
And same with the solar table. It has a small ambient dark sky compliant light as well. And that will be set on a timer to go off as well at 9. Thank you, Joni.
Yeah. I think the bathrooms lock at 10 is what is that what it is?
What?
The bathrooms go till 10?
So
Have the locks set to turn them to lock them at 10.
That's the grace period for the 10 o'clock.
yeah, those will be on an auto lock.
Great.
Did I miss this? But is there marking? How long is the walking path?
I don't have the full, yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to check and see.
Oh, we need to get that.
Yeah.
Well, it would be nice. People would want to know how many laps they need. Like,
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We can definitely
Yeah.
measure it and let them know on that sign, don't you think?
It could even be graduated, if it ends up being a, whatever, half-mile track, then it could be graduated every 10th of a mile or whatever it is.
markings that say this. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I do just.
Most
wanted
people
to-
do have GPS, whatever, but
So I forgot to mention that with the size of the shade structure being 20 by 22, the entry point for the shade is 8 feet tall and the peak point is 12 feet. That's
Good.
the shade details.
I have a question regarding the ADA path for the access. Was there a conversation to not have it go through the cornhole area for like I guess from the walking path, a more direct line to it?
So we really have a challenge because this is going to be
Slope.
up on that hill.
Yeah, okay.
So the higher we go, the harder that gets. So we really took it as far as our engineer felt like we
Okay.
could get it.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
That was also the challenge of finding the location.
Yeah.
For it within the park, because obviously we have everything packed down in the bottom end.
Yeah.
And so we needed to utilize that, but it's too steep up on the upper end for us to put up there and be able to make it ADA accessible. But that's funny that you mentioned that, because I didn't honestly, I didn't think about that, how it goes.
And it may be once I see it in person, it's not a big deal, but I'm thinking about like the way I often will use like a walking path and then stop and do a round of exercise. It's a walking path and then stop and it's perfectly, you could still do it. But I was just curious.
Yeah, I think you're right that path will probably not get as much use as we're imagining. I think it
Mhm.
will be the other side that is primarily used to traverse there.
Mhm.
But the further south you go in the park, the more sloped it is on that side. And so we did what we could
Mhm.
centrally as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've said that about many things in this park as we've, I mean, it's great to look at them on paper and try to figure out where everything is. And then when you actually see them, it's, you kind of go, oh, well, maybe we could have done that, but
Right.
we've got a plan. So there's some value engineering going on, but, we basically determined we got to build it like the park like it is, and the public will show us with social paths, will show us what their needs are. And so we'll be able to develop and change things as time goes, is to access points.
Thank you.
And so as far as the timing goes, because this part was funded separately and we have to fit it into our contractor's schedule with Arizona Rec, we're looking at probably at this point more like late September when they'll be able to come and install it. So it won't be there at the grand opening, unfortunately. And I did just want to mention the total project cost is currently right around $78,000, and that includes $50,000 from APS's generous grant funding, and then the remainder will come from our capital campaign donations that were either noted as wanting them to go towards the workout station or general park support.
Are all of these ADA accessible? Each of these? Are there certain ones that would not be? I'm just curious of everything that's listed.
I do not think that the upper bars are, but I can check that list and we can get back to you. I think some of the items will be and some of them will not be, though.
Okay.
Does anybody else have any things to say? Any question? Did you want to open it? We can open it back up to public comment. Okay. You want to come on up and tell us your name again?
Hi, I'm Wendy Jackson, and I'm right attached to the same property we're talking about. One thing I've noticed in the park, I mean, there's so many fabulous things about it, but some of the things that you don't see on the paper are the elevations. So I would suggest in the future, anytime you do something like this, definitely do an elevation. Putting this, I think it's a great idea to have some workout equipment. The shades are a really big problem. You could invest the money in trees and it will be shaded naturally because you can see the way that the sun goes. There'll be a lot of time of the day that it'll be perfect and you can see the sky when you're working out. To have a shade up that high, that huge, is an eyesore. And some of the other pieces in the park, I mean, I know that it's a trend now to have a lot of shades. I get it. We're in Arizona, but trees are really important to have in a park. And I would, especially because of the elevation, I mean, you should have saw the eyes go up when that shade went over the little zip line or whatever. I mean, it's really not necessary. And it's a huge cost in the future to try to take care of these, to keep them clean, whatever things are going to grow in there and all that. I really think the investment should be in the trees, and especially it being in a high location like that, because even the big one over the zip line, the roof structure is bigger than the houses. So the scale is wrong for the neighborhood. I mean, my building's a big neighborhood, so the scale goes along with it, even though, like I said, it blocks the views. But for the other little houses there, the scale's just wrong. When the trees grow, it's going to look beautiful. But right now, to put another shade structure of this size is just, I mean, the shade structure should not go on top of that swing set at all. It's 14 feet tall. It's not even on there yet. And it totally blocks views. And when you're on a swing set, you want to see the sky. It's part of feeling like you're flying. Put more trees and no more shade. Thank you.
Thank you. Are you finished, Shell, or you have anything else?
I just want to say that inside your packet, we did include the plans which show the elevations. So if there are questions there, you can see the elevations and grades for the park. That was under Joni's section when she was giving a general update for you guys with general locations. Yeah, okay, so are there any other questions or comments? Or we're good to go?
Okay, if there are no more discussion, I will entertain a motion on this.
I'll move to approve the location and proposed installation of the Selma Mangini Steam Park Workout Station.
And I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been made to accept the placement and
Installation.
installation of the proposed Selma Mangini Steam Park Workout Station. Is there any discussion? Okay, then all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. We'll move on to future agenda items. Does anyone have anything to add? Okay, I don't see any. So if there are no objections, I will move to adjourn at 6:31. Oh. Mean what we're doing now? Okay, following adjournment, the commission will be taking a tour of the Selma Mangini Steam Park. No official business will be conducted during the tour.